You can either make dollars or make a difference.
The biggest race in NASCAR, the 65th anniversary of the Daytona 500. Man, I got there early this day, and it was crazy. This joint was like a Super Bowl, bro. When they say this is the Super Bowl of the sport, they really mean that. There's about 100,000 people that can sit in this arena, so it was completely sold out. I was on that side of the track with the VIPs. Just walked around, looked at some of the people, recorded some of the people, left that area, then I went down into the pits. He was on the pit road. First of all, there's a bunch of celebrities out there. Yeah, people like Brandon Marshall, who I've seen also chopping it up with Rocko. They had a long, nice conversation. So before the races even start, they allowed the people to go out there on the track itself. They had like a concert going on before the race launch. People in the grass area, people got their drinks and their friends and chilling, taking pictures. The drivers walking on pit road, people taking pictures of the drivers, the cars all parked nicely in a slanted angle. Everything just looked cool, very aesthetically pleasing setup for a race. So they clear the people off of the grass area, and here comes one of the best parts of the pre-race ceremony, is when the jets fly over. Oh my goodness, the jets flying over was like nothing else. When they flew over, you could feel the intensity from the jets in your chest. You couldn't hear anything as they were flying over. It was so loud at one point, when I was recording on my phone, it completely knocked out the audio for a couple of seconds that it flew by. It was crazy. Just seeing the jets alone got my adrenaline pumping. The people in the stands was going wild. People on pit road was loving it. It was a great time when the jets came out. And now it is time to race. Being at that race was like nothing else, man. It was just so intense. The people were all happy to be there. You had some people in the areas sitting down watching the big screen. Some people on the side drinking their beers. Some people just eating. People just hanging out, chilling, just listening to the sounds of the race. It was just a great scene, just a great atmosphere to be a part of. The pit road intensity between the Cup and Xfinity is just a big night and day difference. You got guys walking down, hands up, get out the way. Basically yelling at the people to get out the way, because this is intense, y'all are in the way. This is the biggest race of the year, and I need y'all to pay attention if you're walking around on pit road as pedestrians. I need you to pay attention or you will get ran over. We don't want to run you over, but it is intense, and you are slowing us down. So as I'm walking around, I'm making sure, checking my surroundings, making sure I ain't getting in nobody's way, constantly looking back. But as that race started to go on, and as it got more intense towards the end of the race, the people started to be more amped up. The people started to be more hyped, and everybody was looking for the big one. And the big one indeed did happen. But ultimately, though, it was a great race. It was the longest race in NASCAR's history. I was invited out there by Dion Williams, nicknamed Rocko, has a long history competing for several different teams in NASCAR as a tire carrier. He's been with Chip Ganassi Racing, Hendrick Motorsports. He was actually the first black pit crewman to work for Hendrick Motorsports. You have to think about it though. When Rocko was picked up in 2005 by Chip Ganassi Racing, this was unheard of to have black pit crewmen as being a part of a team. There were only 2 other black pit crewmen before Dion Williams. From Dion Williams' mouth directly, I got this information from him because I could not find this online. He said there were only 2 other members before him, but he's actually the first black pit crewman to ever win a race. He got 11 Sprint Cup wins with Jeff Gordon, and then he got 16 wins overall. He's the most winningest African-American in the history of the sport, which is groundbreaking in itself, and it does not get highlighted enough within the sport. One of the new and up-and-coming drivers in the Arca Menard series, name is LeVar Scott. I got to meet him. We got to talk for a bit. He finished his race that day. He finished 4th. He was extremely happy. You should have seen the look on his face, man. I got a picture of him and Rocko actually talking. It was just such a good sight to see in the moment. I could see how LeVar looked up to Rocko. Rocko was also giving him his props. They both were just super proud of each other, and that was super heartwarming to watch. I also got to meet one of his guys out there, Mike Moss. Mike Moss was brought up under Williams Pit Crew Development. If you're not familiar with that, Williams Pit Crew Development is actually Dion Williams' own venture within the sport of training future black athletes to come up, in which he trained athletes and gather athletes who have been quote-unquote battle tested to be able to withstand the pressures and intensity of what it takes to be at the Cup level. They have transferable skills, whether it's from other sports like the XFL, NFL players, NBA players, D1 athletes in college. Him pulling these pool of athletes, which is essentially an extension of who he was. He's basically built a program built on his DNA in NASCAR, and now he is bringing guys through it, and he's getting them at the highest level possible in the shortest amount of time. So Mike Moss is currently on the Xfinity team, training up so he can be on Cup within the next couple of weeks. While going to each of the different pit stalls, you clearly can see where Rocko's influence over the past 19 years has made its waves. There's a lot of black athletes on pit road now. There's far more than there used to be when Rocko first started. He was the only one when he was doing it. Whether he helped train them to get them in the league, whether he gave them advice, he's had some interaction, some shape or form with all of the black athletes on pit road. So everybody just look up to Rocko like the OG of the sport, bro. That's what he is. When you watch the way he moves and the way he navigates with everybody within the sport, they all respect him. And he has this influence that is greatly felt behind the scenes. You want to know why? Because he's figured out how to navigate this ropes in this sport. He's figured out how to put in the work to where, okay, you don't want to sign that contract. You want to sign this contract because X, Y, Z. Cut through all of the barriers that are placed in the sport to get them to the highest level. And he deals with the politics, and he let these athletes go out there and be athletes. And this is why he is respected in this sport. And this is why he was able to help make my Daytona 500 experience extremely well. And I appreciate that. And for that, we appreciate you. So this video is a tribute to him and showing off what he has built within NASCAR.
On everything, I'm never going back. Run from appearance and evil. That's what the preachers say. The only thing promised is death.